Texting. We are back. Segment 2, IDD. For those of you who know, I don't disagree. The highly questionable Arjun Miliaccio on assignment, alone, flying solo, the redoubtable one on leave. Hopefully we'll see him back on Monday. Hopefully he's feeling better. On the mend from that what do you want to call that? Valentine's Day date from hell, because he hasn't recovered since. Who knows? Anyway, segment 2. First off, most of you are probably aware now this week, the San Francisco 49ers fired their defensive coordinator, Dave Wilkes, after one season where that defense finished in the top 5 and then got to the Super Bowl and held, of all people, Patrick Mahomes to 19 points before it went to overtime, and they ran out of gas, and that was after losing Greenwald, their best linebacker, in the middle of the second quarter. And having spent the entire week looking, searching, trying to find someone with a background in the NFL to back this decision and coming up empty, the question has come up, what the hell is Kyle Shanahan, or as we call him here on this set, Shanashit Poopahan, doing? Because after pooping himself in the Super Bowl for the third consecutive time, one as an offensive coordinator with the Falcons, hi Tom Brady, and then twice now with Patrick Mahomes, we had 10-point leads in 2 games and blew both of them when he had the more talented team, definitely in the second one. He somehow gets a pass, and this guy gets fired, this Dave Wilkes. This doesn't sit right with a lot of people. And when I say a lot of people, I'm talking a lot of experts, a lot of football experts, a lot of ex-players who are now analysts, ex-coaches who are now ex-GM. No one has come down on the side of Kyle Shanahan here. No one. Except for John Lynch, of course. Which begs the question, what the fuck is going on out in the Bay Area? Because how do you fire? I mean, you lost DeMarco Ryans, great defense coordinator. He goes to Houston, takes them to the playoffs. He's a hell of a coach. You don't skip a beat and get to the Super Bowl the very next year, and this defense, which only when it got to overtime in Kansas City finally broke 20 points, you think this guy should have been fired? And I heard the comment, great coach, great human being, great everything. Well, okay, well, if all that's true, why the fuck are you firing him? It's got scapegoat written all over it. And I want to know what the fuck John Lynch is doing. Because he's a defensive guy. He's an all-time great safety, won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay back in 2002. He was I don't understand John Lynch's thinking on this. I really don't. All the questions this week from that Super Bowl come on the offensive side of the ball. Pretty much all of them. Because everyone is in agreement. San Fran had multiple chances to put this team away with their offense, and they failed to do it despite having a far more talented offense. And this guy's supposed to be an offensive genius. Yet, for the third time in a row, this genius, this savant, pooped himself 6 ways to Sunday. Poop-a-doop-doop-doop-doop-doop. Hence the name, Shanashit Poopahan. And yet, he's getting a pass, and Dave Wilkes is on the street. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'm waiting. And if you hear it, go down the comments section and give me a name. Give me some professional analyst, football analyst, for anybody, NFL Network. Find me the guy that thought this was a good move. I'll wait. I'll wait all next. You find this, let me know. Because whoever I'm going to hear is going to be the first. Because I've been looking everywhere and can't find anyone who thought this was a good idea or it made sense. So, if I'm John Lynch, you don't fire the head coach, and you shouldn't. You went to the Super Bowl. Who gets fired for going to a Super Bowl? And they went into overtime. Okay, all right, give a pass. But, you got to have a meeting and say, look, we were the more talented team last year, and we didn't win. I don't care who you blame. You're the head coach. Starts with you. And we basically had everybody available, whereas the Chiefs were actually missing some people. So I would just tell Mr. Shanahan in no uncertain terms that barring major injury, if you aren't back there this year and you don't close the door, we're going to start looking at you. Because this is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. And I said last week when we made our predictions that he was going to be the reason they lost it, and I was right. Because he was the reason they lost with that stupid overtime decision, listening to analytics and not his gut, which means he has no gut. Having lost to Patrick Mahomes already and Tom Brady, you would have thought he would be like, no, give them the ball. Let's see what we need to do. Don't give a quarterback like that the last, tip your hand, and then he knows what he's got to do to beat you, and he does, because he will. And it's happened 3 times now. So Shanashit Poopahan has a lot to answer for. He is on the clock, at least he should be. And if he's not with John Lynch, he should be with that fan base, who should be. If I was a San Francisco 49er fan right now, I'd be losing my shit. This is like the Celtics losing to Golden State 2 years ago. The more talented team did not win that game, and it was because of the coaching more than anything else. So, and I'm talking about the head coach. So, and everyone seems to be in agreement with you on that. So, John Lynch has to take a hard look at this guy. And if he hasn't had that meeting already, especially after firing the damn defensive coordinator, who is a scapegoat here, he really is. The word's got to be given. You get major injury, okay, I know you can't control that. But barring that, if this team comes back intact, you better be in the Super Bowl next year. If you're not, we're going to take a look at you. Okay, if he hasn't already. Because this reeks. Any way you slice it. So that's my 2 cents on that. Gigglesmoke guarantee. First off, I don't remember if we covered the top 25. Oops, but there are 3-4 very good games this Saturday. And one of them is the number 1 versus number 4 teams in America. That's going to be, well, first of all, I'll give you the lineup. Just so you know what you look forward to tomorrow. Starting off at noon, you've got Iowa State, who's ranked 10th, against Texas Tech, who just boat raced Kansas. They're going to be ranked next. This is going to be a hell of a game. They're not ranked yet, Texas Tech, but they win this game, they will be. Given what they did to Kansas, I wouldn't bet against them. Then you got Texas A&M at 15, Alabama, Wake Forest at Virginia, who lost early in the week, and they got to win that game to maintain their ranking. That's all happening at noon. Then you've got the quietest top 5 team in America, the Houston Cougars, who somehow keep sneaking back up into the top 5. The one time I saw them, they got boat raced by Kansas. But they're at home at 1 o'clock hosting Texas. Then you've got 16th ranked Dayton, who VCU just beat earlier in the week, hosting Fordham. Number 7, Carolina, who's reeling, hosting Virginia Tech. Number 9, Duke going to Florida State. Number 19, BYU at Oklahoma State. And then you got to scroll down. Number 20, Wisconsin playing Iowa. And then the big one at 3 o'clock, number 1, UConn hosting number 4, Marquette. South Carolina, who is now up to 11, by the way, kudos to them. And the women's team is even better. They're number 1 in the nation, undefeated. But the men are facing LSU, hosting LSU at 3:30. Then we got number 25. This is the other big one, 4 o'clock. Number 6, Kansas. Number 25, Oklahoma. That's going to be a Donnie in the Brook at 4 o'clock. And then the last big one, at least, in terms of, it would be, I believe it's a 6 o'clock game. It is number 22, Kentucky, who is in a free fall at number 13, Auburn. Okay? And what's his name? What's that coach's name? He's got a Brillo pad for a hair, too. What is his name? I forget. He's a good coach. Bruce Pearl. That's at 6 o'clock. So, look, Gigglesmoke guarantee. We're going to focus on that 3 o'clock game. Number 4, Marquette at number 1, UConn. Look, Danny Hurley has done an amazing job. And he replaced an icon in Jim Calhoun, who's one of the greatest college coaches you'll ever see. He won 3 national titles. And he beat Duke a loaded Duke team at least once in that. So Jim Calhoun is royalty, and he should be. He's a Boston guy, and he turned UConn into a national power. And what Danny Hurley has done in a very short time is amazing. They are currently 13-1 in the Big East Conference, 23-2 overall. Their lone losses were at number 5 Kansas by 4. And they lost at Seton Hall by 15. That was their worst loss. And Seton Hall is 9-5 in the conference and 16-9. So that's no slouch. So they beat North Carolina, who was ranked 9th at the time. They beat number 10 Gonzaga. who was number 10 at the time. They beat number 18 Creighton. They beaten Butler. They beaten Providence, who's solid. So look, UConn's for real. Okay, they're for real. They've got, if you look at their lineup, I love this team. I love the way they play. They've got, if it ever pops up, they've got 5 guys averaging double figures, starting with the guards Spencer and Tristan Newton, who are the backcourt, maybe the best backcourt in America. They've got the big man Klingman, who's averaging 12 and 6 rebounds and a couple of blocks. So they've got talent. Starting 5 might be the best in America. The guys off the bench aren't that great, but they're not terrible. But they as a team put up 82 points a game. They share the ball pretty well. Not great. 18 assists. Their biggest thing, really, when you look at them in terms of stats, where the teams rank, they are. Where is Connecticut? Wow, they're not even. They're 25th in offense at 82 points a game. If you go by field goal percentage, they're 5th in the nation in field goal percentage. In 3-point percentage, they don't rely on the 3. They don't rely on it really at all. They're ranked 45th at 36% a game. So they don't rely on the 3. They live by 3, die by 3. So they are a team that they're legit. They've earned their number 1 ranking. They're going for a repeat. They have a great shot to do it. Now, Marquette, Shaka Smart, those of you down in the Virginia area know him. He took VCU to the Final Four. Then he got Texas to this week. This guy's been a winner everywhere he's been, and now Marquette is in the top 5. When you look at their team, and they've been steadily on an incline pretty much since the start of the season. They were ranked in the top 25 to start the season. And they are currently, like I said, they are sitting at 4, and that is well earned. Marquette, they beat Kansas when they were ranked number 1. They beat Kansas by 14. They beat Illinois when they were ranked. Their only losses, they lost at Purdue, who's number 2, by 3. They lost at Wisconsin, who's ranked 20th by 11. They lost at Providence, who is 16-9, 7-7. They're a good Big East team. Lost at Seton Hall by 3. Lost at Butler by 7. Butler is 16-9. Seton Hall is 16-9. So they've lost to good teams. And then you look at them. Currently, they're second. They got 4 guys in double figures. Tyler Kolek's their best player. But they average 78 points a game. So they're not that far off. So there's going to be a hell of a game. Again, looking at the team stats, when you look at their defense, to me, Houston is number 1, and then you got St. Mary's. Virginia, 3rd in the nation. But then you look down. Vermont Catamounts are actually 10th. That's not real. That's fake. Not that I don't like Vermont. VCU is 29th in defense. Not bad. UConn is 18th in defense. Is Marquette anywhere in the top 50? They don't appear to be. And this, to me, look, the 50th team gives up, which is the Longwood Lancers. I'm sure you're all hearing about them. They're a household name, but they're 66 points a game. So, look, I don't see Marquette. I'm just going to back up the list to make sure I didn't miss them. No, I didn't miss them. They are not ranked in the top 50 in defense. So I think we found the weakness. They play UConn very tough traditionally. This game is in stores. So in the Gigglesmoke guarantee, 1 versus 4, I'm going to go with UConn. We won last week, broke our 5-game losing streak as we predicted the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Gigglesmoke guarantee, UConn will hold serve and beat number 4 Marquette on Saturday in Adani. That'll be a great game. That's going to do it for our show tonight. quick second segment. Lastly, thoughts and prayers to the victims in Kansas City at the Chiefs. You heard the story. They have arrested 2 suspects. I think they're juveniles, actually. 1 dead, 22 injured, half of which the victims were under the age of 16. I'm a dad. Hearing that breaks my heart. So I don't know what's going on in this country where this has become so common. We're 47 days into the year 2024. We've had 49 shootings in this country already. When is America going to wake up and start to value human life just as a common? This is just beyond unacceptable. And again, my deepest sympathies go out to those families. I just, as a dad, that scares the hell out of you. You do what every dad or every parent does. You picture your kid in your team's parade if they won it, and if something like that happened. It's a parent's worst nightmare. The woman, Lisa Gonzalez, I believe was her name. Thoughts and prayers to her family. This is terrible. I think she was a sports, whether she was a reporter or she was the one who lost her life. And way too soon, and in no way this should happen at the Super Bowl parade, but it happens everywhere in America now, and no one seems to bat an eye, or they just expect it now, or they're not even shocked anymore. So this country has to take a deep look at 2 words: moral fiber. What does that mean, and when do we start to value human life just as a common courtesy? Because this is awful. And we could talk about gun laws and gun control till the cows come home, but at the end of the day, as long as people have access or easy access to these weapons and we can't check them, when does it end? I don't know. But the world is no longer a safe place, and it's so unsafe you can't even go to a Super Bowl parade on Valentine's Day without having to look over your shoulder. That is the United States of America right now. And that is flat out disgusting. And if you're an American citizen, it should make your stomach turn. So the hope is that this is what wakes us up. I'm not holding my breath, but we will see. In any event, you guys enjoy the college basketball weekend. Enjoy the All-Star game. Steph Curry against Sabrina tomorrow night. Ionescu, I think her name is. Heck of a player from the New York Liberty. Check that shootout out. Caitlin Clark, again, congratulations on a record well earned, and go get Pete Maravich. For the redoubtable one who was on assignment, again, highly questionable. We will see you guys Monday night. We review All-Star Weekend and the weekends, the new top 25, and we'll see what Tommy's take on the second half of the NBA season, the second half outlook, if you will. So until then, for the redoubtable one, the highly questionable one, peace and love. See you soon.